questions, comments, anything that you want to, and even if you want to share some experiences which align with the topic that we're talking about today. All right, so I'll begin this and I will be sharing my screen because I've created a very small basic presentation so that we're all in tune with what we're talking about. So I'll just share my screen. Allow me a moment. Hello, Gitanjali. Thank you for showing up. All right, so please do let me know if you guys are able to see my screen right now.
Yeah, we can see. I can see.
Okay. Can anyone else also confirm that you guys are able to see the screen? Yes, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. All right. Okay, cool. So what we're talking about today is spirituality. And, well, a topic which can be misunderstood in so many ways. So let's understand what exactly spirituality is all about and how does it impact our lives and what is it that we can do in our lives today which makes us experience spirituality. Yeah. All right. Sorry, there is some alert. Yeah, just wanted to remove that. Okay. Now, spirituality is actually the journey beyond what we can see. There is a world that we see, there is a version of us that we see. And when we talk about spirituality, it really opens up aspects of ourselves and the world which we don't get to see most often in our current setting, wherever we are. So spirituality is a journey into seeing what we're not able to see today, and then the world becomes much more expansive and much more discovery oriented. So let's go forward and see what is there to for us to go forward with and understand here. Now, I would invite all of you in your own way. What do you think spirituality is from whatever you've learned in life, understood in life? What do you think spirituality is? How does it feel for you, or how have you experienced it, or anything? Maybe you just heard about things, haven't experienced it. Anything that you guys would like to share. And I love it that you guys are interactive and sharing your, just confirming anything that I'm asking here. So please feel free to drop in anything that you feel, or the word. What does the word spirituality mean for you? Even if it's a single word, please feel free to drop it here.
I think it's a way of connecting with God.
All right, that's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna.
Thank you.
I think it's a process to just find ourselves. Just
Yeah, very true. Beautifully said. I don't know your name, but very beautifully said. Anybody else wants to share anything?
According to me, spirituality is to understand our inner self first.
Absolutely. Yes, Ashok, it is. It's so many aspects. I mean, when we talk about spirituality, there are so many things that we do not see and we end up seeing as we become more and more spiritual, more, or rather, I would say, open up the spiritual aspects of ourselves. So I'll briefly take you through a definition just to put in perspective because whatever you guys said just now, it's exactly it. Just that we're putting into a definition and probably a more structured way of saying it and include both the aspect of how you guys said it. You actually have covered everything that we needed to know here, right? And I'm so amazed about it. Anything to do with religion, there could be aspects of what a religion or a community is teaching that is spiritual, but religion and spirituality are not interchangeable. Okay, so it is not religion, and that's the first point to establish here because a lot of times we end up confusing spirituality when we talk about spirituality. If in a general conversation with anybody, there's a lot of times when people end up confusing spirituality for religion. It is not religious at all. All right, so moving into the next aspect, it is that every single one of us is spiritual. We may be religious, we may not be religious. We don't need to be religious. We can be spiritual, right? Without a religion being associated or we being associated to any religion. So, what exactly is spirituality? Spirituality Spirituality is the aspect of humanity that refers to the way individuals seek and express meaning and purpose, and the way they experience their connectedness to the moment, to self, to others, to nature, and to the significant or the sacred. Now, everything that you guys said is pretty much covered in here, and this is a definition that comes from Christina. Um, and she's deeply studied the essence of spirituality in our day-to-day life. So these are based on researches. This is not somebody's personal definition. It's more of research-oriented definition. So typically, when we look at it, it is seeking and expressing meaning and purpose, which is exactly what you guys said, and then experiencing the connectedness to everything available there, which includes God, which includes yourself, which includes others, which includes nature, which includes the significant or the sacred, as we say, the creator or the energy of creation. Now, this is something which is on a very definition perspective, and like in school days and college days, when we heard definition, like, oh my God, this is a big bomb, and I can't digest it. Obviously, I know none of us are going to remember this. I also didn't remember this. I've written it here, so I would read it. So, the I wanted to break this thing up for you guys in a way so that it's easy to remember and grasp and also relate to your day to day life in terms of what's happening when are you able to identify situations when you are spiritual or not, you know. So, the most important aspect of being spiritual is embracing our authentic self. Okay, when I say authentic self, the first question that would pop up in my head probably when I say this, or maybe in some of your heads as well, which would be like, yeah, I'm always my authentic self. But would you want to just for a moment take a pause and see, are there things that you do because you want to do it for your family? Are there things that you want to do because you want to do it for your spouse? Or maybe there are things that, for your friends, for your girlfriends, boyfriends, so anybody for that matter, and even for society sometimes. Let's say if you wanted to be a musician, but you're studying engineering. Why? Because that's the only way you thought your family would be happy with you, or maybe that is the thing that is acceptable in the society. Sorry, just need water. So, your authentic self or my authentic self or anybody's authentic self would mean showing up for what feels right for me, showing up for what feels right for my journey of life, and how do I want to embrace that. And that is about embracing our authentic self and not giving in into people pleasing and making people love us by choosing things that they want to choose for us, but eventually over a period of time that will start hurting. But when we choose our authentic selves, it's a very beautiful place to be in joy and love with ourselves and with the world. And we'll come to that in terms of how and what way does it work. Now, that's the first aspect, which is embracing ourselves completely. It's also accepting all of ourselves, because nothing in us is a mistake. So, how many times you've been told that a feature on your face is not right? You should have been maybe darker, lighter. Your hair could have been like this. Your nose, eyes, something should have been like that. Or maybe sometimes about your height. I mean, I've been told tons of times that I'm too short. I should have been taller. Things like that. So it's just can be, and maybe your body weight, anything. There are people who would come and tell us about everything. But the point at the end of the day remains is we were created perfect. And learning to accept that perfect aspect of ourselves, learning to accept that this is who we are and this is who we were created, and we fully accept ourselves, knowing there is no mistake in how we are created, literally, because there is none. There really is no mistake, right? When you look at a flower, do you find mistakes in a flower, or do you appreciate a flower? When you look at water, when you look at rivers and stuff, do you appreciate them or do you find faults in them? So the tendency for us to look at anything in nature is to appreciate it. And that is who you are. You are also part of nature. You've also been created by the same energy that has created those flowers, that has created that water, that has created the sky, anything that you love, maybe the mountains. So the point at the end of the day is there is no mistake in nature. There's no mistake in creation. Anybody who's been telling you otherwise, that there is a mistake in the way you are, there's some work in terms of therapy or healing that person needs to do, but it is not about you. Whatever they're calling mistake is not a mistake. You're totally perfect in your place, and that is the acceptance that they don't have to give you. You have to give you. The only person who will give that acceptance is you to you. and that is being spiritual. So is this so far? Are you guys with me? Anything thoughts that are coming up? Anything that's that you feel like, okay, is this what I was thinking, or maybe I was thinking something else? Please feel free to share anything that you feel like, and it's an interactive space. Please feel free to share. All right. So moving on, I'll be open to anybody sharing anything. So please let me know whenever you're ready for it. Till then, I'll proceed forward. Um, and also remembering that we are beings of love. Like I just said, that everything in nature has been created from love. Everything in nature has been created perfect. And anything that is created in love is always perfect. Do you see when you are highly inspired, you are so much in joy, so much in passion, any piece of art or anything that you create at that time, maybe cooking, maybe drawing, maybe painting, maybe sculpting, maybe dancing, anything, any piece of creation, anything you create at that time is just amazing and you love it. But when you are in anger, when you are in sadness, when you are in any other emotion other than love, something about that thing will feel not right. Something will feel that is off. Something would have been done better because you're not bringing the whole of yourself in creation. Now, when we are created in love by the Creator, by the energy of creation that created trees, that created sky, that created galaxies. So everything in nature is created perfect. So are you. So remembering that we are created from love and we are created perfect. So this is a remembrance. It's already what we know. We are just remembering it. It is nothing new that we are learning. We are just remembering it. We've known this for times eternal. Okay. Then also understanding that and embracing our interconnectedness with everything. So usually when we are in our current society system, there are many times when we are having conversations and people would tell us that, you decide for yourself or you do this for yourself. It doesn't matter. It's not affecting anyone else. But the interesting point is anything, any thought, any behavior, any action of yours impacts every single living or non-living being or thing in this world, or in fact all the galaxies and everything, because that is what how connected we are with each other. Would you notice, you would have noticed certain experiences when you walk into a room and you feel a sense of tightness. You'll be like, oh, something is not right. You know why that happens? Because we are all connected. Because there's an energy connection which is talking between all of us with each other. And that is the connectedness we're talking about here. We don't have to be related by blood or by law or by any other way. We don't have to be. But we still can tune into another person's energy system. And that is the interconnectedness we're talking about. So, say you sometimes meet a new person and you're like, oh, this person doesn't feel right for me. And sometimes you meet a new person and like, oh my God, where were you? Why didn't you meet me earlier? This is how amazing I feel when I'm with you. This is what our interconnectedness is about, because our energies are talking to each other without talking to each other. Sometimes a stranger just feels very nice. You've not even talked to them. Sometimes a stranger feels very, very unkind. You've not spoken to them, but they still feel like that. Why do they feel like that? Nobody came and gave you their life journey to you. No, you just feel it. That is how we are all connected with each other. So this is embracing our interconnectedness with everything. And just like I said, realizing that every thought, every decision, every action of ours has impact on everyone and everything else. Which means that anything that you're doing in your life every day is impacting someone else out there or something else out there. It's just not about you alone when you decide for yourself. Yes, prioritize yourself totally. Totally. Like you must prioritize yourself. But at the same time, when you're making a decision, make it in the highest benefit for everyone involved. And that also goes for relationships where you're having tough times or struggles. It's, spirituality is an individual journey back to loving ourselves. That may feel like, wow, okay, like, what does this even mean? Now, the interesting point is all of the stuff that we talked about. The journey of spirituality teaches us to go further and further deep inside. It's not an outward journey. It is an inward journey. It takes you inside of you. There is so much inside of you. We just look at a body as a collection of organs that are functioning and our body is going on, but our body is so much more than that. Our body is a collection of memories, a collection of emotions, a collection of energies, And we most often tend to ignore all of that and overlook rather, right? This is a journey back to seeing ourselves fully. And when we see ourselves fully, we are able to, and when we see ourselves fully, we accept ourselves fully, and when we accept ourselves fully, we can love ourselves fully. um is is it this like, I'm sorry, so does it happen that you wear a dress and you're like, oh my god, I love how I look, I just love this look of mine, but when you're wearing another dress you're like, oh my god, I hate myself? That's the point when you are wearing the dress that you don't like yourself in, and you're still able to say, oh, this dress doesn't look good on, this dress doesn't look good on me, but I love myself. When you're able to reach that journey, this is what being spiritual is about. You're able to love yourself, embrace yourself, accept yourself fully. And when that happens, you know what happens? When you can accept yourself with your mistakes, with your flaws, whatever you consider flaws, there are no flaws. There are no mistakes, there are lessons. Whenever you're able to accept yourself with those mistakes and flaws that you consider are mistakes and flaws, that's when you can accept others and love others. Because when you are judging yourself, you will judge others. If you feel you are overweight, then every person who you feel is overweight, you will go and judge them, and you will have hundreds of thoughts like, oh my god, why are they eating so much, why are they dressing like this? But this will start with you. When you are feeling that energy inside of you is when you will sprinkle it out. Like, look at this is a glass I have here full of water, and I can tell you I will give you coffee, but this is all I have. How will I give you coffee? All I can give you is this water. Probably you will have coffee ingredients and convert it into a coffee, or maybe I can tell you I'll give you juice. But I don't have anything. All I have is this glass of water. So what I have inside of me is only what I can give it to you, right? It's very true. I mean, if you consider that there's a neighbor who walks into your house and they ask you for sugar, and you run out of sugar, how will you give them sugar? You cannot give them sugar. But if you have sugar, then only is when you can give them. So the idea about this entire thing is taking stock of who we are, what's inside of us. That's exactly where the journey of spirituality begins. It's all inside of us. And then we're able to offer this to someone else. So this is precisely into the first part of understanding what does spirituality mean. And I'm opening this place here for everybody to share their thoughts or the questions, anything that comes up for you guys that you feel like sharing here, sharing, asking, anything.
So anyone, if they wants to share anything regarding their journey or any questions, they can ask.
What is the path for it to attain the spirituality? Can you explain about that?
Krishna, I'm sorry, could you pardon me, please?
I mean, what is the path to achieve that spirituality? You said about accepting ourselves. Yeah, when it
Right.
will be complete? I mean, when I can achieve it?
Okay, so it is like, okay, tell me, when will you achieve your health completely?
When I don't have any disease, I think.
Okay, and once you have achieved that state, will the state get over? Like, that's it? You don't have to do any more effort after that?
No, I have to maintain my health after that also.
That's exactly where this answer is. That spirituality is not a journey that ends. That okay, I start something today and I will achieve enlightenment by this time. There's yes, those concepts may be talked about, but there's no concept like that. The point is, we get enlightened moment by moment. So spirituality is not achieved all at once. We may have lived for so many years of our life, right? I mean, whatever, 20, 30, 40 years of our life. And so I'm 40. Now, for 40 years of my life, I've gone through so many experiences, so many different things. And in all of those experiences, my body registered different emotions, different thoughts, different feelings, different experiences. I, I or me, anybody else cannot be enlightened all at once. What would happen is that the awareness and the higher awareness and the enlightenment would come one thing at a time, which means that when you're like you're focusing on your health, it wouldn't be that the whole of your body will just get healthy one fine day, right? It'll be one aspect you will consider. Maybe if you feel that physical movement is less, then probably you start walking, running, exercising, whatever, and then you establish a physical fitness, and then you work towards probably your mental fitness. So it would not your physical fitness will impact your mental fitness, but it will not fully attend to mental fitness. So for your mental fitness, you'll have to make some more effort. Exactly that way, spirituality or enlightenment doesn't happen all at once. It is something that will happen in parts. It'll come in parts. It'll come in different aspects. It'll come in different aspects. So say it will come in your aspect of you knowing yourself, your purpose. Then it might come into your relationships. Then it might come into your money story, it might come into your work story, it might come into your health story. Now, all of these things are very interconnected, definitely yes, but it all comes one thing at a time, and there are levels. It's like the more lessons we learn in our lives. So okay, so every experience is supposed to teach us a lesson. So right now that we are here talking to each other, this experience is teaching all of us something, including me, right? I am also learning something, even though I am right now running this session, and I am also learning so many things right now. When we close this session, at that point I would take away some of my learnings, and this is the reason why I'm here in this session, and there is a reason why you are here in this session to learn something. And I don't even only mean by the fact things that I'm sharing here that you're learning. There may be other things, like say right now you've unmuted yourself and shared certain things that you're saying right now. That may be a learning of courage to show up in a public place. And I'm just taking an example. Please don't take it personally. I'm just saying that is how we learn lessons. In every experience, we learn different kinds of lessons. And as those lessons grow, like as those we proceed further, like in learning lesson A, B, C, D, and there are tons of lessons. It's not just few we can count on fingers and small numbers. It is really lots of them. So those are called virtues. We are collecting these virtues one after another. And that is the journey of spirituality. Throughout our life, we will be going through this journey. It is not a point where we've achieved it, but there will be a point that we've always be joyful in saying, okay, this lesson seems to be like I'm almost mastering this, and then another lesson will come to you. So that's typically the way life also works. In life, you will have good moments, and then there will be some dull moment that comes, teaches you some lessons, and then you again go back to a good moment. And that's exactly the kind of journey you'll have with your lessons and spirituality. It will look like it's not going to be a linear and uphill journey. It is going to be like this. It has to be up and down. It is how it is, because this is how life works. Life is not a straight line. Life is not an uphill line. Life is this way. There are ups and there are downs, and that's exactly what spirituality is. Each time you'll have different cycles and different things to learn. So there is literally no point to reach. It is mastering each journey of our life. So probably if you have learned to drive a vehicle, you master the skill, and after that you can drive another vehicle also, because the skill is already available. The next part of driving a vehicle becomes easier. I hope I've answered the question. I took a little.
Thank you, ma'am. I am able to understand now.
Sorry?
Yeah, I am able to understand. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Anybody else wants to ask anything, share anything? You're free to share your experiences also. It's a learning space for all of us here. Anything that you guys would like to share? We'll definitely go to the aspect of how can you be spiritual in your everyday life. That's exactly what a second part of our conversation is supposed to be about. But I just am taking a pause for things to settle in and to. We can move on since I don't see anybody.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, all right, cool. So this second aspect of our conversation today is about what does being spiritual even. Sorry, what does being spiritual even mean? Um, so let's look at where we okay. Being spiritual means being authentic to ourselves. Now, when I say being authentic, like I gave an example that your heart says that you want to be a musician, but your family says that you have to be an engineer because that is acceptable in society, much more acceptable. Or maybe your family is full of engineers and you should be an engineer. Now, standing up for yourself is something that is being authentic to yourself. That is the test of spirituality, where how um, How strongly are you able to stand up for yourself and say, this is my path, even if I make a mistake, it's okay, I will find another way to go. Because see, at the end of the day, we are human, we are here to make mistakes. It's not that none of us make mistakes. There's nobody who's sorted who's never made mistakes. Every single person, you know, the best of the CEOs, everybody that you look at the world, in the world, have made mistakes, learned from their mistakes, outgrown their mistakes, and become a better person and put that experience back into practice, whatever they learn from that mistake. So every single person makes mistakes, which means when you're being authentic to yourself, you can tell yourself, okay, this is the path I'm choosing. I may end up making a mistake, but I'll learn from it and I will not, probably not repeat it, and probably learn the lessons that are meant to be learned from there. So the idea of always being authentic is to stand up in your truth. So let's say if you have a friend circle, and that friend circle is asking you to go for a movie, and maybe that day you just want to rest. There's no reason why you want to rest. You're not sick, you just want to rest, you don't want to go. So you stand up in your truth saying, okay, I would have loved to join you guys, but today my body or my mind, whatever, needs rest. I don't want to join. And if you saying no puts your relationship at stake, then that's not an authentic relationship, that's not a healthy relationship. The point at the end of the day is, when you are standing in your authenticity, you start to find people who will respect and honor your authenticity. And this is what you will give to others as well. So being authentic to your own needs is very important. A lot of times when we are eating and we are in social gatherings, we end up eating more, you know. Have you noticed that? We end up eating more because somebody will say, okay, no, eat this for me. Okay, if you love me, you eat this. And if your body is saying no, listen to it, do not eat it. And eating something or stuffing yourself with something is not a mark of love. When you love someone, you love someone. You don't have to prove it by eating something. Or likewise, if you are doing this to somebody, that's not the most authentic way of living. So being authentic to ourselves, and when we are authentic to ourselves, we allow others to be authentic with us. Which means that if a friend of yours says you tell them you want to go for a movie, and they say don't come, then you don't assume that they don't love me, they don't care for me, this friendship is nonsense. No, then you allow them to on you allow yourself to honor their need. If their need is to rest, it is to rest. Period. It doesn't have to be about anything else. It is just like, today I don't want to leave my house. That's it. And yeah, I mean, so there are so many things that authenticity can ask for, which means, you know, you honor somebody else's needs, you honor your own needs, and you make sure they are communicated. You know, sometimes just say, you need to know when to say yes, when to say no. But sometimes when you are saying a no, you may also want to just tell them that that's the reason. I don't have, maybe say, I don't have any ill feelings for you, but today I cannot join you. That's it. Maybe just putting that line out there makes it easier for the person on the other side to understand where are you coming from. So that's one aspect of being spiritual, that you've got to be authentic with yourself and others. The second thing I think precisely briefly covered, which is tuning into our own body wisdom. Our body is so wise. We tend to blame and shame our body so much that we forget that our body is a gift from the Creator, from this universal energy, and it is so wise. Have you noticed sometimes when probably there is some danger around, you'll have a fear in your gut feeling. Your gut, it will tell you there is something not right. This is how intelligent our body is. A body tells us in advance about stuff. There is some food. Sometimes, I mean, this is a very common thing that happens in most people. Sometimes the food is spoiled, and your body will say, "Don't eat this. This is not looking fine." Until then, you've not even touched that food. Something in you will tell you, "Don't eat it." And if you've tried eating it, you would know you fell sick if that kind of thing happened. And sometimes your body will tell you, eat this, which means at that point you need that. So say, let's say there is a bag of chips in front of you, and then there is a bowl of vegetables. As most humans would do, we would reach out for the chips. But your body may be telling you, don't eat this, eat that one, eat the bowl of vegetables. And probably if you ate those vegetables, you would realize how nice and calm your body felt, because that was its need, and it communicated its need. And it's a very subtle message, it's not a very loud shouting message. The chips message will be very loud: eat the chips, eat the chips, eat the chips, you know, that thing, the pull that you'll have towards it. Versus anything that's there for your body, the message will be very subtle, but the message will be strong. You will know that this is a strong message. So These are the ways we kind of tune into. So this is a way to be spiritual, is to tune into our body wisdom. Our body has lots of wisdom, and it doesn't just talk about eating. It is going to be. It is about everything. It is about interpersonal relationships. It is about your um, finances. Sometimes your body will just tell you, don't spend here. You will know. You'll have some fear coming up in your body if you're spending in a place which is not aligned for you. Spending money, maybe being intimate with someone, going in a relationship space. So your body will talk to you. The idea is to listen. Um, yeah, in cases. So it's just not to do with health. It's got to do with everything else also. Now connecting with the heart. Okay, so what happens is most often in the movies we are told the concept of connecting with the heart, but it's told in a very different way versus what a spiritual meaning of connecting with the heart would mean. Whereas when we are in the societal setup, most often we'll be told, no, use your mind, use your mind, use your mind, use your brain. Don't listen to your heart. Your heart can tell you various things. The interesting point is our connection to the spirit, our own spirit, and our own soul is through the heart. The messages will come through the heart. And our heart is the bravest organ we have in our body. So, which means anytime that you want to take a leap of faith in any way in your life, the only organ you get to listen to, the only voice you get to listen to is from your heart. So, to give you an example, 5 years back, I moved out of my marriage. It was a toxic marriage. And every logical point in my body, which means my mind, was constantly telling me to stay there, to stay there, to stay there, and was giving me like a long list of things to stay inside that relationship. And that's what happened with my family, with my friends, with everybody I knew. Not a single person said you should go ahead with it. Okay? But my heart told me you don't have to stay, you don't have to stay, you don't have to stay. And I just knew something in me that I had to leave. I had to leave that marriage. And I know today, 5 years later, that is the best decision I have taken ever in my life, because I have played that mind chatter for more than 10 years in my marriage and it didn't help. But I listened to my heart and it helped. And we're all happy, healthy souls right now in a good space. So, what I'm trying to just say is that there will be times when your heart will tell you random things. You are standing on a hill, okay, it's not like a literal hill, but it will always feel like a feeling that you're standing on a cliff and your heart's telling you to jump, because that's the most brave action you need at that time. And don't mean this in the physical, I mean it in the sense of the decision. The decision will be so difficult that you will feel as if you have to jump off a cliff. And those are the decisions that you have to make from your heart, because those are the most aligned decisions for you. And that is important to know, that your connection with your heart is coming from your soul, is coming from a higher purpose. It's really coming from a higher purpose for you, of course, for you and for the world, but first for you. So you don't have to give up yourself to serve the world. You serve yourself first and then serve the world. The other idea is, we've spoken about the mind already. Observing our mind chatter, releasing what doesn't serve us anymore. Now, our mind, right? When we were kids, we were told you are dumb, or I mean, I don't mean everybody. I mean, we told a lot of things. Maybe you are dark, you are short, you are ugly. So many things would have been told to us as a kid. What happens is, whatever we are, most of the things we are told as when we were kids becomes our adult programming, which means if you were told that you are dark, you will try and always um, either you could hide away or you could become a rebel and act out that thing. That I'm dark, it doesn't matter, I don't care, and all of that stuff. The point is, the trauma or the pain of that thing which was thrown at you saying you are dark is still in your body. And the chatter that is going on in your mind, which is often referred to as monkey mind, because it is, why is it a monkey mind? Because it jumps so much. Monkey is always jumping around, right? So it's a jumping mind. It doesn't stay on the thought. Whereas if it's about your heart, it will stay on that thought and it will stay there. You ask it 100 times, your heart will still give you the same answer. But when you ask your mind will tell you, yeah, you are dark. Look at that person, they are lighter. You should be ashamed of yourself. Your mind will tell you hundreds of things, hundreds of things. And that chatter has to be left, has to be released from our body. Because that's where the light is. The light is beyond that thing. Our mind is full of positive and negative programs and the belief systems or thought programs. Idea is to let go of what is negative or what is not helping us anymore in our life. So now I don't know why this example. So when I was thinking about the divorce, most commonly people would tell me that it's impossible for
Hello.
divorced women to live in India
Ayo.
happily, or it's not a possibility which is
अजम
happening.
भेज रुक एक
So you
बार
might as well
7
drop
बजे
the
के बाद
idea.
भेज हूँ.
Now my mind was telling me all that stuff, but my heart was telling me, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, and you do this. That's it, period. And when I did it, today I am a very happy, healthy uh, person living by myself with my children, and I'm running my work, and I'm just so damn happy. And today I have become a living proof of a divorced woman who can be happy, a single woman who can be happy and live happily. So the point is, our mind can sell us ideas. We don't give in to them. We don't give in to them. That's the whole idea. We don't give in to them. My son is now 11 years old, and these days when we are talking about certain things, we tend to have this conversation, and he tells me, Mama, this is a limiting belief. And I'm like, wow, done. That's great, because my job is achieved, right? He can differentiate between a limiting belief and a growth oriented belief. And our mind is full of both. We need to know what is a limiting one. Okay, when I say limiting one, which means it limits you from living your fullest potential. Okay, and when I say growth oriented one, which means it pushes you to live your fullest potential. That's the only way you kind of get to distinguish between. So for years I could not drive. I always believed I can't drive, I'm a bad driver, I'll end up in accidents. And for the last 3 years I drive the entire country all by myself, alone. I just drive solo all over the country. So the point I'm trying to say is that there was a limiting belief I had around driving, which was I cannot drive. And then now I have a growth oriented belief I can drive anywhere and I'm totally safe. Now, people would tell me it's not safe for women to drive. I am a living proof of the fact that it is totally safe for women to drive solo. The point I'm trying to tell you is that there's not one possibility. We have millions of possibilities. How we create that possibility is very important. And now I also don't mean that you make an uninformed decision. When I drive, I make sure that I stay at safe places. I make sure that I'm covering the routes at a certain period of time. I make sure that I'm sharing my route with somebody. So, so do your basic measures. I'm not saying don't do those basic measures, but at the same time, I'm also saying that you address your limiting belief system. Right? There is a limiting belief system we all of us have. It's not like none of, or some of us have, some don't. All of us have it. Address that. That is exactly where spirituality is, addressing our heart, body, mind, and soul. So we've covered about our body and heart, and this is our mind. So this is it. And this is now when it comes to the soul and it comes to the purpose aspect, which is be kind. Conducting every act knowing it impacts everyone and everything in this world. You may want to kill a mosquito, okay? Killing the mosquito can result in an ecological imbalance. Yes, it may seem like, okay, are you kidding me? Just one mosquito less will not change the world. It will change the world. You can apply some anti-mosquito kind of lotions or whatever those oils and creams are, and whatever depends on your allergies and stuff. Please make an informed decision. You can use those things, but killing is not the only option. Like I have heard of people who would say if a rat comes, the only way to get rid of rats is to kill them. No, there are so many other ways to get rid of rats. Likewise, so many things. I'm just saying that every action of yours, every decision, every thought of yours is going to impact this world in small way or big. We don't come to know. I'll give you a small example. I have a friend who supports a lot of charitable organizations, also orphanages. Okay, so I work closely with her to support orphanages, right? So in one of these orphanages, we went together for some work to support the girls. It was a girls' orphanage, and there she was taking these kids for dental checkup. All right, and she's doing this in India. All right, the day she took these children, these girls in the orphanage for dental checkup, the same day her daughter in US fell down and her front teeth were like broke, and there was nobody to take care of her. A stranger walked up to that girl, took her to the dentist, got her covered, and then called the mom when the girl was in a space to talk. So can you imagine how one small act of yours will come back? We end up hearing or seeing these things on social media saying that every act of yours will circle back and come back to you. It does. You will not know how. You don't need to know how, but it will come back to you. And that's why being kind is so important. small acts, like probably like how personally I have become moved that towards that thing is I've given up silk because it needs to kill so many silkworms to make one silk garment. Then I've personally given up leather. I don't consume leather at all in any way. So the point is, I can still wear some. So I love sarees, right? I can still wear a cotton saree. I can still wear other fabric sarees. It's not that if silk is not there, I can't wear a saree. No. Likewise, I can still get so many other things without leather, right? Everything can be bought without leather. So the point I'm trying to only make here is that conscious decision of being kind can always be taken. Every small decision makes a difference in this world. You may believe it, you may not believe it, but it does. That's the nature of how this world works, and that's our connectedness. Well, so this is who we are. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Because a soul goes through many lives. This is one human life that soul is dealing with. Okay, so it's not that this is all to our life. Our soul has so much more. It is just one. It's like imagine in your school, you go through so many grades. This is just maybe grade 2, grade 3, right? So you're just going through one grade. And does it matter anymore once you're in college and once you are in working space or whatever, like you're an adult? Does that grade 2, grade 3 even matter? Like, yeah, it was there. I learned something there. That's exactly how this life for our soul is. So we get very caught up feeling, wow, this is all there is. And, we really get caught up when we start to believe that, I am this, I'm that, and our ego can tell us stories. But we are just spiritual beings because we have a spirit, our soul, and it's having a human experience. So imagine the soul is in grade 2 right now. I mean, I'm just saying grade 2 is an example. The soul could be in grade 5, the soul could be in grade 12. I don't know, each person's own journey. But this is how, when you look at it this way, you start feeling like, okay, this is a small experience, and how can we make it more joyful and cherishable? I guess this is all we had today. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. This is all we had.
So
So,
anyone wants to ask anything?
anyone wants to ask, share? Also, tell me this was crap. Please feel free to tell me. Most welcome. And something like, okay, this is nonsense. Please feel free to share that also. Okay, how can you stop getting demotivated easily? Motivation is a little overrated. It's a human cycle to be motivated and demotivated regularly, okay, because it's a day and night thing. Only when the night comes do we appreciate the morning, day or morning, right? So the cycle is imperative. It's going to be there. The cycle of motivation and demotivation will be there, but you'll have to look at how are you not following your heart. Because if we are in a constant cycle of demotivation, there are more reasons that we are not listening to our own heart, or we are listening to people around us, maybe parents or siblings or teachers or any educational setup, or maybe neighbors or whoever else. We are listening to people and following what they are doing or what they are suggesting for us to do in our lives, right? Motivation, excitement, passion, all of this come into our lives when we do what we feel like. So you could tune into understanding, and it's a process. It may not happen day one. You'll have to show some patience. You could look at going through some meditations. Again, you don't have to be perfectly in dhyan, in meditation. Just listen to the meditation. Do it day 1, do it day 2, do it day 3, do it day 4. Like this, probably on the 10th or the 11th day. I'm not suggesting 10th or 11th day. Maybe second day it kicks in. Maybe the 5th day it kicks in. Maybe the 10th day it kicks in. But the connection with your heart will kick in, and you can look at heart connection meditation, heart healing meditations. Those things you can look at on the internet. You'll be able to find those things. Other thing you can do is journaling. You can start writing what you're feeling or thinking right now. You could also, just write randomly. You don't have to write a perfect essay. It's not school. Nobody's checking it. Write whatever you want to write. Like if I'm feeling very demotivated, I have no excitement, I don't like this, I don't like that. Write everything that you're feeling and thinking both. So when you say I don't like this, and then you say, oh, I am dumb, and I'm not saying you are dumb, I'm just saying that may be the kind of thought pattern that will surface for you. There is a feeling which is I don't like this, And then there will be a thought pattern saying, I am so stupid. So then write that down. Okay. I used to believe I'm dumb, I'm stupid, so I'm just referring to my examples. Okay. Don't take it personally, please. All right. So I'm just saying that journal. When you start journaling, you know what happens? Initially, it will be full of very negative beliefs, thoughts. Slowly, the layers underneath, which are of joy and love, will start to surface. It again may not happen on day one. You'll have to keep some patience and keep doing this regularly. So, why am I saying this? Because is it possible that you breathe once and you say, okay, the oxygen for my life is done? No, we have to keep breathing. Can you eat one meal and say my food for the life is done? It's not done. That the same way, motivation and all needs work, and you have to commit to it every day. Take out just 5 minutes. Okay, and if you feel it's not safe for you to keep these papers somewhere, there are two ways. You could burn it safely, or you could write with an invisible ink. That's also available. So you can do various things. If you want to do it, there are many ways to do it. Please, if you're burning it, please burn it safely. Be safe and make sure your surroundings are safe. And burning is a process which has always happened even in our ancient wisdom. If you go back, you'll see that burning certain things used to happen in order to let go of what's not for us anymore. So it's a very natural process for us to let go, to detox ourselves mentally and emotionally also. But kindly make sure you are safe and your surroundings are safe and everyone else is safe. And listen to meditations, listen to podcasts. It will all not work on day one. That's a guarantee. But day two, day three, day four, whatever day works for you, it will start working. And probably you may also need to change your environment. You need to find people, the right kind of people to engage with, which means in the physical as well as the digital environment. People who bring out the best in you, people who make you feel good about yourself. Those are the kind of people you need to engage with, because as a rule, we are a summary of 5 people we most spend time with. And if all of those people are demotivated, then you are not getting your motivation from anywhere, because 2020 of those demotivated people, if they are in your life, then you need to change the people in your life. I'm not saying you have to remove those 5, but reduce the interaction with them and bring in someone who's more positive. So every small hope will get added into your life. I can also stop sharing. Yeah. Wait, didn't realize the screen was still on. All right. Have I answered your question? And anybody else wants to come up with questions? Thank you. Anybody else wants to ask any questions, share their experiences, and any thoughts that surface for you? You just started to feel, oh yeah, this is exactly what happened in my life.
I think
Sorry.
no questions is there.
All right. All right. Cool. Okay, so one last word before we say goodbye. Your spiritual journey is yours individually. The best of the teachers out there, they may tell you lots of things, the best spiritual teachers out there. They are saying from their experiences, it does not mean it is true for you. You get the lessons, you get the wisdom, but you still follow and understand your own heart body wisdom. And you learn to take care of your mind. It's going to sell you ideas. Anytime your mind is going to talk below the line of dignity for you or anybody else, you don't have to listen. You don't have to listen. Line of dignity is very important. So that's it. That's the way we kind of enter ourselves into spirituality, making every conscious decision. This is a conscious life, conscious decisions, conscious thoughts, conscious behaviors, conscious actions towards ourselves and towards others. And that's exactly coming back to love and coming back to spirituality. Yeah, we're all born spiritual. We are just remembering it.
So
That's all.
thanks for guiding us, and so we can wrap it up now.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Gitanjali.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. This means a lot, I guess. We just got something new to just look up to, like, okay, you can do this. So there's nothing has happened bad, okay? Whatever has happened is happened. Just it's a small part of your life, and you can just
Exactly. So
let it
true.
off. You just let it off and just start again, and you can maybe you'll be getting something more or something more important. Just you take take just talking about the grades and all that, it's like too hard. Like, okay, whatever the bad thing has to happen has happened. Okay, you just accept it and just move on with it.
Exactly, exactly. I have failed in school. If anybody wants to know, I have poor grades. Totally welcome. I'm still making a life for myself. So, I mean, my relationship didn't work out. It's okay,
Actually,
right?
I also failed in my 12th.
Oh, see?
Still, I make it to, work for the OYO, then US based startup Rumi, then it's now on my startup.
Yeah. So there are no mistakes. So it's so nice that you're openly sharing that, and I'm very glad that you're able to. There are no mistakes. Frankly, there are learnings and there are no failures. Remember, there are no failures. People will tell you all sorts of stuff, but there are no failures. It's all learning. The idea of learning is to learn and not repeat things. That's it. That's all.
Okay, thanks guys to join us. So
Thank
we
you.
will meet again soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Bye bye.